Hello and welcome back to Viralstyle Academy. Again, I'm your host, Luke Stassi, teaching you the basics of how to get into selling t-shirts online through Viralstyle. So this is part 2 of a series of how to use Viralstyle Designer right on the Viralstyle website. And in the first video, I walked you through some of the basics of what you can do in Viralstyle Designer. This is part 2 showing creating a little bit more of an advanced design. So I'm going to get right into it here. So if you were thinking about making a t-shirt for a mechanic and you were looking on Google, you'd actually find that there is a phrase out there that's been used a number of times before that mechanics obviously must like, because otherwise why would people keep doing it over and over again? And the phrase is, I may be a mechanic, but even I can't fix stupid. So it's kind of a clever little funny comment, and it's resounding with mechanics because it's obviously playing off the fact that they can fix anything, but they can't fix stupid people. So what I'm going to do is just show you how we can create a really simple design right here in the Viralstyle Designer that you could potentially go and run with and market on your own, and show you that you don't necessarily always need something like Photoshop to get started. You just need to get creative and utilize the tools that are available right at your fingertips, which one of them is here, getting into Viralstyle and then coming to Designer. So we're going to be working off of a black t-shirt for this, and we're going to get started here. So something to remember is, again, select colors that are going to pop, and select fonts that you think your audience is going to resonate with. So I'm going to use white and red in this design, and I'm going to use the font RoboSlab, and I'm going to use the font Lobster. So you see those two will be the only two fonts I'm going to use. I don't always like using a ton of different fonts. 2 or 3, I would say, is good, but sometimes people will have like 5 or 6 different fonts on a design, and it gets kind of sloppy looking and a little messy after a while. So I would recommend try to keep it simple. And again, use offsetting colors. What this is going to do with offsetting colors is it's going to cause whatever that other color is to pop. If you look at this, it's gonna, this word mechanic is really going to stand out now. So it's cool because we're trying to market a shirt to mechanics, so we want that word to pop and to really stand out to them. So use that second color very wisely as you're creating your designs here. So when creating designs, I'm often only using 2 colors, and I can't tell you how many designs I've created using very simple graphics and just a mixture of text and color, and they sell really, really well. So what I'm going to design on here is something that I would honestly put together, and I think it could sell. So you need to add some graphics in here, though, that are going to resonate with the people. So if you click on Add Artwork and you just type in something like mechanic, which is who we're building the shirt for, you're going to find Viralstyle's got all these really cool graphics that are made available that are going to be related to that particular niche. So I'm going to grab this wrench because I think that any mechanic is going to resonate with a wrench, and we're just going to try to work to fit this thing in here so that it looks good with the graphics that I've already created. So yeah, it's just kind of, I'm not going to get really particular about making sure everything lines up and looks good, but you always want to make sure that your lines run together. So this, we got to make sure it would be in line with the word mechanic here. So it just looks visually pleasing when all of your lines are working together and it doesn't look sloppy or messy. So I may be a mechanic. I'm going to add another line of text here. But even I. And again, we're going to go back to using the same as that first line. We're going to use the same color and the same font. I'm going to pull this over here. Add another line of text. Can't fix. Same deal. White. Roboto slab. And I'm going to pull it over here. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do next here once I get it all together. I want to get in this last word here is stupid, and I'm just going to mimic the same color and font as the word mechanic so that they both are kind of standing out together. All right, so now I also want to get a graphic in here somewhere, one more graphic. If you go back to Add Artwork, and we still got the word mechanic plugged in here, you see there's different graphics like this car that may resonate with, and these gears, and this here. There's a lot you can play around with. I'm going to grab these gears. I just think these guys are going to stand out well. and they're going to look good in this particular design. So I'm going to kind of bring it over to the left edge here, and then I'm going to try to get it to fit in this space in a way that actually looks good. So now we've got kind of this open area here that I don't really like. So something I want to touch on real quick here is you look on the left under the layers. What you're going to find is that these words are actually lined up in order from top to bottom. So you see the word stupid is up here at the top and but even is behind. So if I pull that behind it, it would overlap as such. But if you take but even and you drag it up here to the top, now it would be in front of the word stupid. So sometimes it's cool to get some text that overlaps each other. This is just an easy way to move your layers around up and down so that you can make sure it looks good the way that you want it to look good. So I'm just going to increase the size of these fonts. Just play around with it, get it in here. This is a kind of a simple designer, which is great when you're getting started because you might not be able to afford Photoshop. So if you have trouble getting to one of these, just pull it up to the top and then you'll be able to move it a little bit easier. So again, I would say try to get like these all lined up in sync here. And I'm not going to belabor this. You guys can get the idea for yourself. So here we just put together pretty quickly a design that I honestly think if you tweak this a little bit more and got all of the space filled in here, and we got this text a little bit bigger. Anyways, you play around with it, you get it to look good. And I think that this design could potentially sell. It's a phrase that's clever, it's a phrase that's catchy, and I think it needs a little more moving around and tweaking, but in the end I think you get the idea here. This is a shirt that would sell, and I can't tell you. I've done shirts over and over and over again that are just using maybe 2 different fonts, 2 different colors, and using a couple of simple graphics like this, and they'll sell like crazy. I've had shirts like this. Something this simple sells thousands of shirts, so it doesn't have to be a massively complex design in order to sell. In fact, I've been testing some really complex designs lately, very detailed hand-drawn graphics, and I'm actually finding that simple designs like this sell better than the super complex ones. It's just, I think it's the way that people are able to grasp the concept on Facebook. And again, always remember, if you hold down the control button and you scroll out with your mouse wheel, you can zoom out and you can view this really small. And this is going to give you an idea of what this might actually look like showing up in somebody's Facebook newsfeed. So that's why you need the stuff that's going to pop and stand out. That's why you need font that is really big, and you need these alternating stuff, because this is all going to stand out to somebody and they're going to be able to get it pretty quickly. So that's a great way to just kind of get out there and look at why it might stand out. Because, for example, if this were a dark red color, if we zoomed out, this word becomes much harder to read when looking at it from a distance, whereas a bright red is really going to pop and stand out. So that's why I always recommend using those bright colors. So there you go. That's a real simple design that you can create right here within Viralstyle Designer. You don't have to be a Photoshop guru. You don't have to have a graphic design background. Anybody can get in here. It's just a matter of taking the time to learn this particular designer, and then once you master this, then you have extra money. Maybe you do move on to something like Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator, and you'd be able to create much more complex designs. But this is something that I think anybody can get in here and play around with and do. So it's just about balancing the way that the text is flowing. Make sure that your lines are lining up, your lines are lining up here, and you're spicing in some graphics and different font sizes to kind of make it interesting. So this is a cool little design. So in the future videos here, I'm going to walk you through all of the extra stuff here in Designer as far as pricing and launching and the right things to do and ways to price your stuff.